evening, everybody.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Joey.
I'm JJ,
I am Jan.
I'm Jack. I'm Jay.
And I'm Jamie.
and welcome to It's Time FB Live. Tonight is Monday night, so we're going tonight we're going to be talking about a few things that families take for granted. Jack here is going to be enumerating them. What's the number one, Jack?
The number one is the first thing we take for granted is our family.
So a few days ago, a few weeks ago, Dad contracted an infection that spread very quickly in his body, and
It was life-threatening.
it was very life-threatening. Yes.
So he had
It was-
surgeries.
He had a series of surgeries. And when we went to the hospital, Dad was like confined there for a few days, and it seemed like the whole Lullabob debacle thing again, where we thought that it would be a recovery, but then Dad might, not make it. But thankfully, thank God that Dad was able to get out of the hospital. The doctors there are actually really skilled. They were able to clean out everything in his body that was affecting him. They were able to patch him up, and they were able to send him home as soon as possible. But from the experience, it's really hard to lose a loved one, especially when it comes to immediate family member. Like for us, it's Dad and it's Mom, and for me, it's all my siblings as well. And what we also take for granted from Dad is the fact that Dad takes care of everything. He's the man of the house. He's the one who really, he's the one who takes care of everything without.
So during that time, because what we're trying to say here is that we normally take for granted the parents, all right, the presence of the parents. And last month we had that situation when all of a sudden we realized the importance of the presence of both parents in the house. Because what happened was that when Dad was in the hospital, I was taking care of him, right? And you were all alone here in this house, right?
Yes.
So what have you been doing? What have you realized during that time? That it was... What was that? What?
There's a spider on your hair.
Spider. Okay. Alright, so what I was saying about... so during that time when we were both gone, but we were just in the hospital though, what happened here inside the house? Did you...
We had to look after ourselves. One of us always had to go to the hospital to take care of Dad, and Mom had to go to work. So we had to pay more for the tricycle fares, or even
we didn't
sometimes
have
when
a
you get
driver.
home, taxi fares. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no driver, no... But all of a sudden, you had to all grow up.
Yeah.
And
All of a
they-
sudden, I also had to take on Dad's responsibilities too.
Yeah.
Kuya was
I-
the errand boy of the house.
Yeah, I was the runner. I was the one who was going to the malls to pay our bills. I was the one who was going to places to do things that Dad usually does. And now that I think of it, it's really quite difficult and hard to do those things. So all of a sudden, at that point, I just realized, wow, is this what Dad does all the time? And he doesn't complain about it too. Like, he doesn't say, hey guys, this is what I'm doing, you better be grateful. Dad just usually keeps it to himself. But now that I know what Dad does, I'm like much more grateful that I'm thankful for Dad and all the years that he's been doing all those things for us.
Yeah, and also being the driver, that was actually the the worst part for us because we have a car, but nobody
driver.
knew. Yeah, nobody knew. What? Okay, yeah. Also, yeah, we don't have a driver. I don't know how to drive. JJ doesn't know how to drive, so we have our car, but we can't use our car because our driver was in the hospital. So usually we take that thing for granted, that when your parents fetch you or bring you somewhere, you don't normally say thank you, or you don't really appreciate that much. But when it's gone, you really would you'd think that, okay, it was too late for me to say thank you to that service he's doing. Oh, Jamie wants to say something.
It's Optimus Prime's birthday tomorrow.
Yes, Optimus Prime.
Alright, so Optimus Prime is actually our car, our second home. We call him Optimus Prime and it's his birthday tomorrow. She just wanted to say it. Alright, so from now on, we always say thank you to, the parents and each of one here, all the members of the family, because during that time when you experience that situation, all of us step up, right? So JJ became the man of the house. He took charge in all the errands, and Ate became the lady of the house. So she took care of this three younger siblings, and of
I was
course
at the
they
hospital
all
with
had,
Mom.
yeah, of course. Sometimes I would take Jamie to the hospital with me so that it's less worry for Ate here in the house. But yeah, all of you stepped up, and so that's actually a good realization that each member of the family is very important, especially of course Daddy here. Okay, next, Jack Shack. What other things do families normally take for granted?
Financial advice is the second thing people take granted for.
Okay, so financial advice, what does it mean, Kuya?
Well,
Or Jake?
What?
In financial advice, the thing is, we're speakers, right? So we do financial planning, we give financial talks, and one of the foundations of a financial house is actually emergency fund. And we always teach that we have to have emergency funds, and that should be at least 3 to 6 months equivalent to our monthly expenses. And sometimes we take that for granted, that it's such a very important thing, but because of what happened with us, all of a sudden we needed funds because we didn't have a health card. And it's a good thing that we have some, but it wasn't really that much. We still had to borrow just to be able to pay off the hospital bills. But that's really one good thing that we did in our family, because we had some funds, and we were able to use it in that case because it was an emergency. So for most families that we teach financial planning to, they don't have this. It's actually the most difficult budget, the most difficult fund to fill, because we just put it in the bank, and sometimes we use them.
And it's cash kasi.
Yeah, it's cash kasi, so we easily
Use them.
spend the cash. But it's a good thing that we had some, and that we were able to use for that kind of emergency. Okay, and again, the health card, it was one of the foundations as well, and we didn't have that. Not our fault. It was actually an incident. There was an incident, but we were supposed to have it, but we didn't have. But
It was not processed.
it wasn't processed as planned. But anyway, those are the things that we normally take for granted in a family. And so when financial advisors talk to you, you need to really just follow their advice, because these are the things that we experience as a family. There really are illnesses and certain situations when it's out of our control. So we need to be ready and prepared in everything. And Jake, diba, you're always saying, or what do you usually say when
Yeah, and in our talks, I always say, now that you know all of this, you have to take action, because if you don't, you'll forget all of it and you will never become rich.
yeah, so
So, and then people were supposed to take action, but not some of them don't. They wait and then they forget. So after a few years, they're still stuck in the same situation, like nothing ever changed.
yeah, so in our case, guys, we just had our talk last Saturday, right?
Yeah,
From the journey from zero to multimillionaire. We said that in as little as 5-6 years, we were able to turn our life around from zero, from nothing to multi-millions worth of investments and savings. I'm not saying we have multi-millions now, but it's the savings and investments that we have gotten for our family. They're gonna be worth millions in the future. So we have investments for all our children, and we were able to really take action. And you don't have to really just get everything right now because it might be expensive for you. But over the years, you should be getting some policies or investments and some savings. So in our case, we have about 6 COL accounts and 33 policies already with Sun Life. And we accumulated them over a period of 6 years, and you can actually do that too, so that you'd feel secure as parents that you have already taken care of the future of your children. So again, that's one thing that we usually take for granted, our financial journey, our financial situation. So emergency funds, very important. The health protection, very important. And of course, life insurance. Because if he had died, of course, I didn't want him to die. Even if we had like 100 million, I kept saying, even if I had 100 million, I would still trade every single cent, so that he would still live. But just in case he died, at least the insurance that he would leave behind, we'll be able to use, so that we don't have to worry about where to get tuition fee for the kids, or the daily expenses. We wouldn't have to worry about it because he would leave us something. So it's a good thing that he really didn't die, because again, it's easier said than done. We really wouldn't want to trade his life for the insurance money, but just in case it happened, at least the family would be able to mourn our loss, because we have the money and we don't have to really go back to work, because our needs will be shouldered because of the insurance money that he would be leaving. So in our case, that's really one of the things that our family is always focusing on, to complete our goal, to finish our goal of 15 million each. Right now I have 11 million, and that's over the years, and it's all different kinds of insurance. We have the term, the trad, and we have the VUL as well. So, and in his case, he has about 5 million right now, and we're still building our financial house and strengthening the foundations of our financial house, which are emergency fund, health protection, and income protection. All right. So another thing that families take for granted. What else?
Alright. The third thing is basic body functions.
Oh, what the?
This sounds random, but
Yeah.
this sounds random and a bit weird, but honestly, we take for granted our own bodies, because when I remember Dad before he went to the hospital, Dad was like a very strong man. He was very fit. He had a very perfect body.
Ito na naman, he's quite fit. Fit, huh?
Yeah, he's still fit until now. But when Dad had the infection, Dad was like a weak man. He seemed very weak, like an old person already, like a person in his 60s or 70s. Like he really needed a walking cane. He used the luggage as a walking cane while we were in the airport, I believe. Yeah, and when he was already at the hospital, he really wanted to like sit down in a wheelchair and be wheeled around, and that was something that was really heartbreaking, because Dad seemed like the invincible person, like the Superman of our family. And so what I realized was that Dad actually had it was really painful, especially when they cut up his body. They did the surgery on him, and now he was like in pain going to the washroom. And even when he went to the washroom, it was hard for him to pee.
pee.
It was hard for him to poo
And
even.
then you can talk about it
Yeah,
after the first surgery.
yeah, because during the first surgery, I was bombarded with anesthesia, and the effect of that is your ability to what you get to pee or poo or fart is restricted, right? And of course, your body is still functioning, still when you drink and you eat, of course, they accumulate in your body and you have to relieve yourself. But it's very difficult. Every time I know that my bladder's full and I want to pee, nothing is coming out. It's just very painful. And I remember when I was healthy, I'll just go to the washroom and just pee, and just like that, easy, right? But then when you get into that situation where it's really difficult, it takes a lot of energy to try to relieve yourself, and it doesn't function very well. Then you were wishing, and always. And I was praying, and I was wishing when the time when I was healthy, and it was really easy. And then when I did, I finally was able to do it, but little by little, and I was so thankful. And those times you cannot really express gratitude until you really experience it. And I'm saying it's you when you're in that situation, and you would be able to do it again, or you would be able to, your body will be healthy again. Your point of view is different. You'll be really thankful. Just simple, like being, you're thankful.
Yeah, when you couldn't fart. Usually farting is actually
It's coming out.
like something gross, when somebody farts,
It's like a
we make
comical
fun.
thing.
Yeah. But after his operation, he couldn't even fart. And when he did fart, instead of
Being grossed out.
yeah,
Yeah.
being grossed out, instead of laughing about it, we said thank you,
Thank
Lord.
you, Lord. Yes, because it's
It was
very painful and difficult. So that's something we take for granted when we're healthy.
healthy.
But when we get sick and we were not able to perform well with those very simple function of the body, you'll just be praying, and you'll be very thankful.
So the fact that we're able to, the fact that we're healthy, we're able to pass gas, we're able to chew properly, we're able to eat normally, everything is actually something to really thank God about. Actually, I would like to add another thing that we normally take for granted are our pets. Our pets, during the time when we were in the hospital and only the kids were here, we were really grateful that we had pets. Our dogs who are very noisy now and loud. We felt a little safer because we had them to guard the house.
We want them to guard our house.
Actually, they really guard our house.
Yeah, they do.
Really good. We're really grateful
So
for them.
we have right now we have 4 dogs, and at that time we also had 5 kittens inside the house.
No, yeah.
And plants, living things. So we felt that sino ba nagsabi nun, that we believe that when there are living things other than the members of your family inside the house, it actually helps and absorbs the negative energy. So during the time when he was in the hospital, that was the time when a puppy died, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mommy, that was your old puppy. That's Gold
Yeah.
Bar.
No, Gold Bar is this one. Alright, so one puppy died during the time when he was in the hospital. So we thought that, we actually I believe that now when you have living things in the house, they absorb the negative energy. So parang instead of you dying, it's the pets, or the, I don't know, the plants or the pets. Like one plant, our plants died. So it's better that they die and then we live. So I don't know. It's just something that I
When we took such good care of the plants.
so anyway, we're grateful that we have them, and we have these beliefs that these were all like energy, and we pass it on to all these living things, and they absorb also the negative energy around us. So that's a good kind of belief also that we can take on, because in our house talaga we believe that there should be like other living things, even the cockroaches. They're living things, so when they die, it's like, why you don't like cockroach? So, anyway, another thing, Jack, that
The fourth thing we take for granted is the puppy's barking. I'm joking. The fourth thing we take for granted is time.
So what do we mean by
what?
we take,
and we
time for
take
granted?
time for granted. We think that we have all the time in the world,
we
right?
think that we're the masters of time, that time bends to our will and we can manage it.
Yeah,
We
you
think
know,
we can manage our own time.
our family actually, we spend 24/7 together because we are both working with Sun Life, and as Sun Life advisors, we own our time. So we're always with our children. And these kids are all homeschooled, so they stay here at home. So we're really always together. And only a few times that we are apart. So we're, the plans that we make, it's like this is it. This is life happening already. But for others, the other families who, they're unfortunate to be working 8 to 5 and going through traffic. So they spend most of their time outside of their house, and then during the weekends when they plan for something, they even postpone it because they think that there are other weekends. But what if there's no more tomorrow? What if someone dies already? So do not postpone your plans to, give a treat to your mom. Don't ever postpone your plans of showing your affection to one another, even just even if you really don't have any plans of going out, but at least just say I love you to each other. Say you're grateful for the fact that they're there. So yun, parang for us it was, I'm getting emotional again, but it's just the fact that you think they're always gonna be there, and when it happens that all of a sudden you're faced with uncertainty that he may not live or another family will go, you can't turn back time. You'd only wish that you were able to say whatever you had to say, because you don't know if we don't own life. We don't really know when it's gonna end. So what we're saying is that we usually take it for granted. Oh, there's always tomorrow. Okay, we'll just go ahead and eat out next time, or I'll call my mom next time, or ano pa? Help me.
We'll go out on the week. We'll go next time. For them, there's always a next time. To them, tomorrow is
The things that
always
we plan,
there.
yeah.
Tomorrow's always there. Tomorrow will always come. And then they take tomorrow for granted. The next moment, they might be in an accident. The next moment, their children might contract a disease or something. Next moment, one of the parents might have a heart attack. The next moment, anything could happen, and that's because they said
we don't own our life.
that's because we don't own our time. Yes, that's because another person says next time, but that time is not really, doesn't really belong to them, so they don't actually know what's going to happen.
Yeah, even with Daddy, you also had that realization right after the surgery, right? What was the realization?
That we're just starting. That life is just it's fragile. You know, when I went to, when I was wheeled into the operating room, I thought it was just 30 minutes. It's a 30 minutes operation. It's simple. And then I was wheeled in at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I woke up at 4 in the afternoon.
Aww.
So
How many days?
I realized I was not able. When I died that day, there are a lot of things that I was not able to do. There are a lot of things that I wish to do that I would not have been able to do.
And yet we're always together.
Yeah.
And yet we're the type of family who always appreciate each other. But then kulang, parang ganun pala yun. Kulang pa rin yung time.
Time is never enough.
Yeah, how about you, Jamie? Remember when we were both gone? How did you feel? I mean, you were left here in the house. Did you feel anything?
I didn't really feel happy, and I didn't really want to didn't do lots of stuff anymore, and it was like life was a bit sad.
Yeah. It was a bit sad. Yeah. So yun, time is very, very important. So we all have 24 hours in a day. And how much time we really spend with the family. Sometimes kasi when we're already together, people are still busy working. Like even I realized that even when I was here at home, I'd still be working on the computer. So even if they're there, it's not really quality time being spent together. And that's why in our family we really spend for vacations, hotel stays, because when we're out there, it's really just vacations, really just spending time with them. And also we make it a point that we bring them to their classes and be with them, because that's also showing them that
Support them.
yeah, we're supporting them and we're spending time with them, even if it would mean I won't be able to meet with clients or do my work. But for them, we make them realize that, okay, mom is here watching you doing sports, when in fact I should be in the office or making calls or meeting clients. But then during this time, really we make sure that our kids know that we would sacrifice our work for them. So for other families, we hope that you're learning something from us. And again, it's yun na nga, pinagmamalaki namin is we always have time for each other. It's like 24/7, we're always together. And yet when that happened, we felt like it still wasn't enough. It really wasn't enough. And he said it was just like we're starting our life. And yeah.
And I realized I'm not yet ready to leave my family behind. Well, I have to do the things that I need to survive. And it's very painful. The post surgery
Yeah.
thingy,
Recovery.
the recovery, that's so painful. But I said I have to go through this if this is the way for me to get healed, to get better. But it's really it was really painful.
Yeah.
I have to go through it.
Why don't they make you sleep?
No, they don't, because it would the medicine that you will put for people to sleep, it's very strong.
Yeah.
So they will just put
That-
something so that you won't feel it?
Yeah. It's anesthesia.
Anesthesia. But it was not. They don't put it before they remove the stuff. After they
I
remove the
know.
stuff, that's the only time they will put anesthesia.
So again, yeah, health is
Health is
something
wealth.
that we're sometimes taking for granted. So don't abuse yourself. So right now we're eating healthy green foods.
Prevention, yeah.
la, la, la,
They
like
always say
hot
prevention is
sauce.
better than cure. It's really appropriate.
And
it's true.
cleanliness in the house, right? So we make sure that we have our oils, we diffuse oils, and we clean the place. So-
Body injuries, insect bites, those things that appear on the skin. You don't take that for granted. That's how I contracted this disease.
Yeah,
It's
you
life-threatening
scratch it and
disease.
it got
Don't scratch it,
infected.
and if you have scratches on your body or any injury, you have to treat it properly, wash it, and bandage it. Don't take that for granted.
My toe.
It can really turn life-threatening if you do that.
Okay. And life itself, actually, we take it for granted. We really take it for granted. We wake up in the morning and then sometimes you feel like, oh my God, it's another boring day. But then you know what? The moment that you wake up, as soon as you open your eyes and you breathe and there's air and you're alive, that's really something that we should be very thankful for in the morning as soon as you wake up, because you woke up again and you have another 24 hours to reset your life and live and do the things that you have never done before. So do not ever think that tomorrow will ever be there. What if tomorrow never comes? What if there is no more, you won't be able to do stuff tomorrow? What if? So you always have that thinking, what if, what if, what if? And that's why in our family and being financial advisors, we always really tell our clients, what if? It's not because we wanted to, push insurance for you, but we have that as a family. We know the importance of life insurance, of health card, of the emergency funds, because I think everyone knows naman the value, but we always postpone, we always delay. So do not ever delay anymore from now on. If you wanted to say something to someone, then just say it. If you wanted to appreciate someone, just go ahead and say it and express your feelings. Don't ever withhold it, because again, you never know when life's gonna end. So in our case, we always have that. We now appreciate more each other than before. We show each other, kindness and love and appreciation. And of course, it's still like every single day, it's not perfect every day, but with just being aware that you don't own your time, you don't own your life, that it will end at some point and it may be too soon, then you will realize pride is nothing. Just set it aside and then just go ahead and say how much you love your family. Okay, so every time that we wake up in the morning, we thank God for our life and we count all our blessings. We do not take for granted anymore the members of the family, the fact that we have a house, the food and clothing, the basic necessities, right? And our health. We don't take that for granted anymore. We just say thank you for every little thing, every little blessing that we have in our life. Alright guys, so
Count your blessings. It's time.
See
See you later.